having the talk.
How and
when do we introduce children to the birds and the bees?
All right, well, Dr. Viviana Coles is here, an intimacy expert who's going to help us out. Make sure y'all feel comfortable. If you don't want your kiddos in the room, they can leave for just a moment. But let's talk about that age. Sally was just asking and wondering about the actual ideal age to start talking about to those kiddos.
It's never too early, Sally. Yeah,
really?
Well, here's the thing. Once your kids are starting to become verbal, that's when we start to put names to body parts, and it should be no different when it comes to your genitalia or your sexual reproductive organs. A lot of people might, use the word belly button, right? Let them know that, oh, but the real term is navel. Not that you can't use the word belly button, but you always want to do that. You wouldn't call your elbow some funny name.
Yeah.
And our body parts, all of them are really valid, important, and they need to know what they're called.
Okay, so it sounds like to go into the talk, you need to have a plan. You need to sort of know what you're going to say and not just go in willy-nilly. So first off, you say it's important to use the medical terms like you just described there. And why is that so important to use that terminology?
I would say a couple of reasons. The first one is, God forbid, if anything ever happens, whether they get hurt, abused, anything like that, they will need to know where they were touched and how. And in some legal cases, you have to use the right medical terminology or else it might get thrown out. But let's just say, in general, things are going well. When they go to the doctor, how great would it be if they were able to be very specific? Even for women, the term vulva. We tend to use vagina for, everything having to do, but that's only one part of the bigger picture, right? So I just think it's important to do that, and it also normalizes it. It makes it feel like it's not something naughty. It's not. It's your body.
And I've been talking to my boys openly their whole lives. I think because I'm a medical reporter, I get out of mom or embarrassed mode, and I go into seriously talking about medical stuff. As teenagers, they ask me questions today, so that open conversation is so important for parents, for them to have a safe place where they can go and get the right information. Let's talk about things like the questions, because they are going to come. How do you suggest that you answer those? That can be tough if you aren't expecting them.
If you aren't expecting them and you don't know the answer, just say, you know what, I'm going to look it up and I'll come back to you. I know somebody I can ask.
Hopefully there's not anything that you don't know that they asked, but is that possible?
Oh, it's absolutely possible.
Or if you're not prepared for the answer, maybe, right? Just use that.
Use it as an excuse. Okay.
Well, exactly. And I think it's important for them to also know, oh, wait, my parents may not know everything, but they're willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's also very important. And then the other piece of it is to make sure that if you aren't ready, start to get ready. Get some information. There's really great, solid information out there. Contact me. I will absolutely direct you in the right way. But it's very necessary, and you can't avoid it forever.
You want the child to understand an intimate relationship is special. There's a deep meaning there. So how important is it to talk about the emotional connection?
Yeah. So a lot of people miss that. They lose out on the opportunity to talk about emotional intimacy connection. They also forget to talk about pleasure. Such a big part of, fortunately, how our healthy bodies were made. So if you can talk to them about that, even if it's just to plant the seed, then when things come up, they'll know that they can come to you as well.
And it can be so controversial to talk about self-exploration, so to speak. And how do you go about with that to make them feel perhaps healthy and normal versus any type of guilt type feelings and the old saying of, to your son, you're going to go blind, let's get out of that mode, right?
Absolutely need to avoid any sort of myths or any belief systems that really don't stack up to the science. I think it's so important for both men and women. I've seen as a sex therapist what happens when you don't have a healthy relationship with your body. And if that's not encouraged from a very young age, you're basically lost for a long, long time. And it shows up when you're finally partnered up with someone, and then you come and end up seeing me. So I believe that there is a healthy way to explore your body, both mentally and physically.
All right, Dr. Viviana Coles, I suggest we do it with sense of humor too, right? Have fun with it.
Okay. And it's okay. It's okay to say that. Laugh through it, but do it.
All right, thank you. Good to see you.
You got a big job ahead of you, Sally.
I only have a few more weeks of summer. I got to get this done. This talk done.
You got this. Coming up next.